From about 1980, when I started ditching high school and hanging out almost permanently in New York City, to 1990, when I moved to Tucson, Arizona, and started Rebel Butterfly Press, I lived a trajectory of anti-war activist reaching out into later revolutionary organizer. Lots of high points in that. One of my favorites was there's an all-glass armed forces recruiting station in Times Square, and like 300 punk youths took it down with bricks and it just shattered. And I remember the horses rearing, and it's like a full-scale riot all across the city in the subways and everywhere. We shut down the NSA's building, the Blue Cube, which has actually been deactivated now, I found out. I remember pulling up the railroad tracks where a train that was supposed to carry nuclear weapons was supposed to go on. Hanging outside the Compton High School with a few hundred students rocking police cars, chanting the lyrics to "Fuck the Police." So I'm giving this more as a background to long pages of arrest history and some trouble. When I moved to Tucson, I started doing street art and being street art, and I really felt like this was a real safe way for me to kind of retire, as it were. Oh, and by the way, I'm doing a summer daisy exploration. So it's I'm not dressed for tonight. I'm dressed for the season to kind of put the crack in there and make people question a little bit about their style and culture. During street fair on 4th Avenue, it's a time where I can usually do something a little crazier for a bigger, more diverse crowd. And this one year, it was kind of the year that there was all this hubbub about Obama's economic stimulus plan, and that's kind of what everyone was talking about. So I got on my roller skates and a colorful dress and a little red wagon. I had lots of different performance art stuff in the wagon. And one of the things I had was this big roll of like tickets. I had about 500 tickets, a big roll, and they said 1 free drink. So I thought, this is Nico's economic 4th Avenue stimulus package. This is great. So I just started giving out tickets. I probably gave out like 150 tickets, and people asked me like, where can I use this? Like, oh, you can use it anywhere in the city, all day today. So no one questioned me, but I think there was some confusion at the vendors. So what can I say? So I got like all the way down the avenue, and then, I was confronted by the police, which again, I'm kind of used to. But this time, there was like, 3 uniformed police officers and 2 of the yellow shirts, the Merchants Association, and they were not happy with me that year. And they not only, usually they tell me to leave, or okay, Nico, you've done too much, get the hell out of here, This time they actually escorted me like 2 blocks off the avenue, and they told me that if I ever came back in, during street fair in any capacity to look at a booth or anything, that I would be immediately arrested. So, I went home. I was like, okay, that was different, But, I've been doing performance art during street fair for almost 15 years at that point, and I wasn't willing to give up my ground so easily. So I was like, well, I can't do what I did yesterday. They'll nail me right away. So I hatched a plan. The next morning, was Saturday, I got dressed up in a full suit and tie, court shoes, and I had a leather briefcase, and I had Ray-Bans that covered up my tiger eyebrows. And looking back on it, I probably looked so weird, I probably looked like Nico anyway, but I don't know. No. And I went down really early when people were setting up, and I went to Value Village, which is where Goodwill is now on the avenue, like a block and a half from here. And I asked permission if I could meditate outside of their building on the sidewalk, because they have like 6 feet of the building that's theirs. So they said, oh sure, Nico, no problem, So I laid out this big purple blanket and meditation pillow, and I opened my briefcase, and inside the briefcase I had a little sign that said, TPD officer, I forget his name, requested that Nico not be here at all during the street fair, and so Nico is very, very, very far away. And I proceeded to get into this deep meditative state, which and my briefcase is kind of open like a busker's thing, I wasn't really sure what people were going to do with it, but I kind of liked the look of it, walking by the buskers. So, And I've been meditating like 4 hours, really, taking in all the smells and sounds and crowds of street fair, which was really incredible, actually. And then I heard this kind of like strange barking up my name, Nico, Nico. And in that state, I wasn't really sure if it was like mind fireworks or whether it was real or not. But it got to be like it hit my fight or flight thing, and my eyes kind of just flickered open a little bit. And all I can see in front of me was like this big wall of blue. I can't tell you how many police officers there were. It was like 3, 5, 6. It was like my full vision. Suddenly all of, the fair was gone, and there were these police officers calling my name. And the only thought I'd had for like 4 hours, I had right then, and that thought was like, I am not coming back for this shit. And I just kind of fluttered, my eyes closed again, and I was in full lotus position, just like, and there was some grumbling, and then the next thing I know, I'm like levitating, all the sounds and the smells of street fire below me, and there's all these hands on my legs and my waist, and I'm being like carried down the avenue, like paraded, I'm thinking like, this is very strange, but I could tell it was against my will, even though I wasn't really there. So then they kept throwing me to the ground, trying to like get me to, do what they wanted, which was like walk to a police car or whatever like that. They were doing some pain compliance on my fingers, which I'm used to. It wasn't really working. And so they kept lifting me and throwing me. As soon as I get to the ground, I'd snap back up into full lotus position. And they go, oh my God. And then so they did that a while for a few blocks. I could hear some people complaining, what the fuck did he do? But I was just continuing to meditate. And then the next time I was thrown, instead of being thrown down, I was actually thrown like vertical, like really far. And I thought, well, this is cool. I'm like on like a magic carpet ride here. Like I had no idea where I was going to land at all. And all of a sudden, my leg smashed against something very hard and metal, and I kind of tumbled, and I heard doors slam. And I just took a deep breath, and oh God, it smells like a police truck, And I thought, okay, performance is over, you better open your eyes and see what the hell's going on, So I opened my eyes, and sure enough, I was in the police truck, and it was a limo ride, just the driver and me. And I said to the driver, said, what did they charge me with? And the driver said, I don't know, man. That's kind of typical, right? So I said, well, where are we going? He said, to jail, I said, oh, okay, well. And I started talking to the guy, and he said to me, I've never taken anyone in a suit and tie to jail before. And I said, well, obviously, you've been taking the wrong people to jail. Anyways, he really liked that, and he laughed, but, it's not like he was going to turn around or anything. And so, we get to jail, and it's weird up at the place where you check in. Usually they take your ID, but I swear to God, she just must have put in just Nico, or I don't know. She seemed like she didn't ask for my ID. She put in just like 3 strokes and spun the computer around, and there was a big picture of me smiling, and she was like, "That's you, right?" And I said, "Yeah, that's me. Okay, whatever." And it booked me in, and then kind of in a great victory to dissidents and Zen meditators everywhere, I was charged with criminal trespass.